Hello. It's John B. Parker here. Welcome back to another episode of Absolute Thermal. In this episode, we're going to be doing some life improvements, hopefully getting some progress done. You guys can see here that I went ahead and made myself a satchel, and I upgraded it to the reinforced version because I wanted to have a bigger capability. This is essentially just like a backpack. This is Thermal's version of the backpack. And if we go ahead and look at the recipe here, it's pretty simple. You just have a couple of tin, couple of leather, and then any kind of wool. It doesn't really matter. And then if you want to upgrade it, this one here, it only has one row. So if you want to upgrade this, all you need is a couple of Invar and some tin nuggets. Now, to get Invar, what you have to do normally is the induction smelter. You have to make the induction smelter, and then it's 2 iron for 1 nickel. But we don't have an induction smelter yet, so we went ahead and made this Invar blend, which is just 2 pulverized iron and 1 pulverized nickel. It gets you 3 Invar blend. And then we just went ahead and smelted that up to get the Invar ingots. And as you can see, we went with the reinforced. So the reinforced just takes a couple of Invar nuggets, but it takes electrum. And now to get electrum, it's basically the same thing. You can do the induction smelter as well. And where is that recipe? It's just gold and silver. So what we did was we made the electrum blend, which is just pulverized gold, pulverized silver to get that. Then we smelt that up and we get the electrum ingots. And that's how we got the satchel. Right now, what I set aside in this chest here is I'm getting sick and tired of iron pickaxes. They just have such a low durability. You can see they only have 250 durability, and we just blow through that. I've probably blown through like 8 iron pickaxes at this point. I also tried Thermal's 3x3 mining, their basic 3x3 mining, which is the hammers. They have all different kinds of things, and that's just 5 ingots like this, and that mines out a 3x3 area. But those also have a pretty terrible durability, so I figure instead of just doing those things and just blowing through the iron again, let's just go ahead and upgrade ourselves. I have a whole bunch of stuff here. This should all be the correct amounts. I hope it's the correct amounts for everything we want to do here. So the first thing that we're going to need here is the flux bore. The flux bore is basically your power tool. That I do believe that it works on anything, stone, dirt, leaves. It doesn't work on wood though. There's a whole different tool for wood. We're not too worried about that one right now, but we are going to go ahead and make ourselves the flux bore because this thing runs off of RF. Its durability is RF, and we have power gen, so we're going to go ahead and try this out. So what we need to do here, we need to make an iron gear. We're going to go ahead and throw it just like that. We need to make this tool casing, it's got a really cool model. I like that. So we make the tool casing. Then we need the drill head, just like that. And that should be everything right there for the flux bore. But what I did was I made a little bit of extra Invar, and we're going to go ahead and upgrade that to the hardened version. So just your basic version will hold 40,000 RF. But your hardened version will hold 120K. And that's what we're going to do here. So all we're missing is the Invar gear. And we have that. All right, guys. So we have that. Let's go ahead and unceremoniously throw the iron pickaxe in the trash can because I'll show you in a second. We are rolling in the iron. The next thing what we want to do here is to make sure that we don't run out of power in the middle of a mining session. We're going to make ourselves a flux capacitor. Now these things are just like batteries, essentially like batteries. This flux capacitor, the basic version, will hold up to 1 million RF, and that is a lot. And it doesn't take a whole lot of materials to make it, which is amazing, right? The hardest thing to get is the sulfur, but what we did with the sulfur is we just throw some coal in the pulverizer and you get sulfur, 15% chance. I think I did like 8 or 10, and I ended up getting it. So we got the flux capacitor, and that'll hold 1 million. Hey, sorry about that quick cut. I received a phone call, and yeah, so pro tip. that is not really from a pro. Turn your phone off when you're trying to record a video, guys. Anyway, we were trying to make the hardened version of the flux capacitor because this will hold 4 million RF. Here we go. So we literally have everything we need. And I'm surprised at how easy these are to make. That's really amazing. It doesn't take any kind of crazy stuff to make. You just have to make the invar, just have to, and the electrum. If we look at the next tier of one, we could possibly make it, but it requires hardened glass, and the hardened glass is a whole rabbit hole. We'll get to it in time. Now, to charge these things, amazingly, there is a machine for it, and it's called the energetic infuser. Now, we have the capabilities, hopefully, to make this. This is basically just a machine that you hook it up to power, and then you can throw any of your tools or machines into it, such as the flux bore or even the flux capacitor, and you'll have the ability to make it. So we're going to go ahead and make this right here. We should have everything that we need except for the copper, apparently. Huh. Well, I guess you guys are going to get a view of the setup here and see how much we ended up getting. A bunch of copper because I made it a priority. Oh, this is all the iron that we ended up getting, guys. Take a look at that. That's pretty sweet, isn't it? All right. Oh, it's coming up on nighttime. Sorry about the quick movements, but I'm trying to get in here so we can sleep. Okay. I really am a little disappointed with myself because I thought I had everything, but it's neither here nor there. We'll make 2 copper gears, and then we need a reception coil. These different coils are, some of them are weird in the fact that they either go this way or this way even, which is really cool. So it looks like all we need now is the machine frame, and that's going to be tin, which we have here. I must not have accounted for some of the energetic infusers. Is that right, guys? Wait, did we not need the tin gear? It doesn't matter. Derps happen all the time. So now we have the energetic infuser. That is superb. So the last quality of life change that we're going to make right now is something to help our power, and it's going to be the energy cell. This thing is essentially, think of it like a flux capacitor but on steroids, right? So the basic version of the flux capacitor will hold 2 million RF. And then these can get upgraded, and we will upgrade them, guys. See, there's one of the it's a conductance coil that requires electrum. It goes the opposite way. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Now we need the energy cell frame, so we need a lead gear. A lot of lead goes in this, right? So it's very similar to a battery, and we're missing a few iron. Dang it. That's the last time I try to count exact numbers, right? Because next time I'm just going to grab stacks of stuff, because you can see there that we clearly have a lot of stacks of things. All right, here we go. Machine frame, energy cell frame, actually. It's not a machine. And now we have the basic energy cell and an extra tin gear. I am 100% convinced that will get used. All right, so we're going to have to change our flux duct routing a little bit here, because what we want is we want our power coming into the energy cell and then from our dynamo, and then we want it coming out of the energy cell to our machines. So I'm thinking you take a crescent hammer and you shift right click, it will do that. So it's not breaking it, it just kind of pops it up. I guess it technically would be breaking it. We throw our energy cell directly on top of there. This way we kind of have, similar to our chest here for the pulverizer, we have a buffer, but this time it's for power. So now what we can do is we can throw a whole bunch of blocks of coal in here, and then we have a 2 million RF buffer, instead of just like sometimes if this is full and your machines aren't running, it'll still burn through the coal, but it's not really technically producing any power. So just like every other thermal machine, we want output on the orange and input on the blue. So again, if we go like this and we shift left click, it'll clear everything. But we want the bottom to be input, and then we want the right side to be output. So you can see even the colors here change. And you can tell that it's charging, obviously. This one here is, so you get the bottom, top, left, right, front, and then this is the very back. And it's however you placed it. So we placed it like this. This side right here would be the front. So that's just a little quality of life change right there. And I found a spot. I found something to put here, so it doesn't look so terrible. It kind of looks a little funny with the door behind it, but whatever. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to throw our flux bore in here. And it's going to charge kind of slow, but, you know, we're early in the game here, guys. We haven't upgraded any of these machines yet. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to let the flux bore charge up, and then I'm going to throw the flux capacitor, and I'm going to let it fill all the way up. And I will be back with you when those things are done. And we're back. Here we are with a fully charged flux bore, 120K. The flux capacitor is 4 million RF, so that's going to take a while for that to charge. So I didn't want to sit here and wait any longer because, hello, patience, you are not my friend. Anyway, the last couple of housekeeping things that we want to do here, we want to do a few more. I know I probably said the last one, but here's a few more. I went out with my flux bore once it was fully charged, and I found diamonds. A few diamonds here. I had 5 there, and I found a total of 10 diamonds. And the great thing about now the fact that we have diamonds, the great thing about that is we can upgrade our flux bore to the reinforced version, because that took three diamonds. So we just have to make ourselves an electrum gear here, and boom. Now our flux bore is reinforced. It holds 240K, and I do also believe that we can change it to mine 5x5. No. Okay. So if you guys didn't know, Thermal has the default keybind for changing any settings in any of the blocks, or usually like the tools and stuff like that, is V. So if you hit your V key, you can change the amount that the amount that you mine out. So you can either do a single block, a 1x2 tunnel, or a full 3x3 area. And obviously what we want is the 3x3 area. So now that we have the reinforced flux bore, we can make ourselves the next best thing for mining, and that's a magnet. The magnet, or fluxomagnet, I guess the Thermal calls it. This thing also runs on RF, and not that much. It doesn't use too much either. So they're pretty cheap. Lead, iron, redstone, all easy stuff to make. This is basically just it'll attract the items up to 4 blocks away for this basic one, but we have enough materials here, some copper nugs, some invar, to where we can upgrade it. Now this one will do 5, and then we can get all the way up to the reinforced version because we can make electrum. And now this one has a radius of 6, so any block that's floating, within six blocks of us should get sucked in. Hopefully, once we have our flux capacitor, when we have this, give this a charge. So the way to activate this thing is you shift right click, or no, shift right click. What are we doing here? We just have to right click, but because we don't have any power on it, we're gonna go ahead and sleep. Because we don't have any power on it, it's not gonna activate just yet. So let's go through a little bit of power on that, and I'll show you guys that it'll activate. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty very, very, very handy, especially with the 3x3 mining. Oh, and then we have this flux capacitor already set. You can change its mode with V as well, charging just your equipment, because there's gear that you can get. Charge your whole inventory, or just charge all items. I usually just leave it on charging all items. And shift right click does that. What are we doing? Shift left click? No, is it just always active if we have a charge? That's press V. I'm silly. I just got done telling you guys this. So there we go. Now we got it. It's contracting all blocks, and what we can do here is we can test that. And if we move around here, it should. Yep, there it is right there. And the great thing about this is you can throw that up in the bobble slot, and the flux capacitor can also get thrown in the bobble slot, so it doesn't take an inventory space. So that's really nice. What we're going to do, though, is keep that charging. All right. So the very, very last thing, I promise, the very, very last thing for this video, we are going to make ourselves probably one of the funnest blocks to play with. And it's actually not a thermal block. It's called the Creep Cube. anybody like the MeeCreeps, and anybody knows what the MeeCreeps are, you'll know this block hopefully. But this block here, the creep cube, if you right click it on any block, it will spawn a MeeCreep. And you can have the MeeCreeps basically do work for you. And that is really fun. So we can spawn a MeeCreep right there, and he'll give us a thing here. We can have him pick any of these things to do, but that's not what we want to do. What we want to do here is I kind of found a little bit of a cheese. It's not too much of a cheese, just a little bit of a cheese, in that, let's say you want an area dug out or something built. Not necessarily something built, but let's say you want an area dug out. MeeCreeps will do that, and they'll do it quick, and they'll do it efficiently. So, it didn't even do 2 hearts of damage. I love jumping down off of things. Our iron boots are taking a little bit of a beating, but not that big of a deal. So if we spawn our MeeCreep here, and we look at this, and we can say, what do we got here? Dig straight down to bedrock. Dig down to bedrock using stairs. You have to feed him stairs. Build a house. Build a platform. Flatten an area. Flatten an area. I'm going to need 13 by 13. Just check this out here, right? So if we just tell him, never mind, let's try and get down somewhere. If we take 13 by 13 and we half it, you get, 6.5, right? So that would make the 7th block your center. Also, with the flux bore, if you have it set for 3 by 3 and you just shift, it'll mine 1 block. So let's do this. Let's try this. Let's set this for a 1 by 2 tunnel. And it's going to dig us a 1 by 2 tunnel. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here's the 7th block. That would be the exact center of a 13 by 13 area. Spawn the MeeCreep, flatten an area. I'm going to need 13 by 13. And just watch him go to town. Your MeeCreep is a miner, guys. He is a very, 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 very good miner. And look at how fast he's going. This is so much faster than any pickaxe you can get. Other than maybe efficiency 5, haste 2 beacon. And look at him, just look at him go. And the great thing is you get to keep all of these cobblestone, and nobody wants to keep limestone, but you get to keep it if you want it. You get to keep all of these resources. And hey, if he mines diamonds, he'll mine the diamonds, and you get to keep the diamonds. That's what's fantastic about it. The only problem, if you do it this way, he doesn't light up the area. And if you try to light up the area while he's mining, he'll mine the torches. So it's kind of you have to be here, or else if you walk away from this and you go back to your house or something like that, and you come back, you could have a mob farm here. And that's not necessarily what we want. So just a little tiny bit of cheese, and look at this, just auto resources, and my magnet is just picking it all up. And he'll mine the gravel as it falls down. That's so good. It's so good. So much look at this. We made a gravel farm, guys. This is great. This is so great. And it's like 13 by 13 by 3, I want to say. Something like that. But this is the greatest thing I found. I don't remember seeing this anywhere else. I saw the MeeCreeps on another video, and I was like, maybe they can be my miners. You just and the great thing is you got one here. I can literally do this again while he's still going. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go ahead and get another one. What do you say? Flatten an area. I'm going to need 13 by 13. This guy's still going. And now this guy's going. So now I have a 26 by 13 area that's going to be dug out. This is one of the best things I've found. And it really really makes me happy. Gives me pleasure. So if anybody can kind of sort of foresee what I'm going to use with the MeeCreeps mining out these huge areas, then you get a gold star. If you can throw it in the comment section, I will definitely give you guys a gold star. So that's about it for today, guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate every single one of you. Have a good night. With